All right. Welcome to the Crevice Cast, episode 1. I am your main man, Keith. My co-host, Johnson. How's it going, Johnson?
Going good in Seattle tonight.
Oh, yeah. Woo. All right. So, on tonight's episode of Crevice Cast, the first one, we have a special guest here today. His name is Chaos.
Yeah, what's up, guys? My name is Chaos.
Oh, yeah. Woo. Okay. Well, we're going to get straight to the point here and start talking about our topics. All right. First up on the list. Why do Parkview emergency rooms take so long?
Because they're dicks.
Yes.
They're terrible, trust me. I've had bad experiences with hospitals and Parkview in particular.
It's because they shove too many people in at one time and they don't expect that many, even though it happens every single time.
Parkview never learns.
Yeah,
Well,
they don't.
One of my many stories includes that I was throwing up and had to go to the emergency room, and I had some sort of issue with my body, and they took me, locked me in a room, and left me there for at least an hour. It was terrible.
Yeah,
Johnson,
I totally understand that.
Johnson had something else to do with a relative that he wanted to talk about, I think.
Oh, yeah. My relative died, and we were going to the emergency room, and the bastards fucking sat there like idiots.
That is not what happened.
Fine. My brother got a gash in his head. We were waiting in the emergency room for hours, and then we drove to a different hospital. We didn't wait as long. It was ridiculous.
Oh, so you had to drive to a whole nother hospital, and you got in faster, even with the drive.
Yep.
Wow.
Me personally, hospitals I've been to has always been shit. The worst experience I could say is Lutheran Hospital.
Oh.
That hospital basically killed my dad.
Put him out of his misery?
No, it started everything for him, trust me. Beds are down to the bone, an aneurysm, not to mention other things.
All right, well, I think we're going to go to our next topic, unless anyone else has anything to say.
No.
Nope.
All right, well, our next topic. Do people wipe standing up after crapping?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, there's only one person I know that does this, and it's John. John every time he says he does, he stands up and wipes instead of doing it sitting down. I'm pretty sure that's not normal. And he even went as far as to go to his mother, which is a nurse, to ask her if it's normal, and she said no, and he freaked out. Also, Johnson, you are muted.
Yes, I had a uninvited guest come in, and I just, shut him up real quick.
Oh, okay. Well, do you know anybody that stands up and wipes after crapping instead of doing it sitting down?
Wait,
I do.
You sit down and wipe?
Don't even start this.
I stand up.
I stand up. If you sit down and wipe, that's what girls do.
Dude, I can't do it. I can't do it while sitting down because, I'll get in that crevices and then I'm like, ew, what is on my wrist, dude?
Nobody, ew.
So I have to stand up.
You're probably one of those people that walk over the mirror and like get up on the counter and have to look. It's disgusting.
Lucas, 99%.
Who's Lucas? I'm Keith.
Keith, the fuck ever. Luke, Keith, God.
Jesus.
99% of the world wipe their ass standing up.
No,
That
no, that is
1%
not.
that sits down
Yes, they do.
are idiots.
No, that is.
Those are women.
Yeah.
On both genders, it's fine.
Okay. Sure.
All right. Well, let's go to the next topic. Can you get kicked out of an all-you-can-eat for eating too much?
I think this is your specialty, Johnson.
If you're
I'm
talking
Keith,
about
you're
women,
Johnson.
Who am I again? Am I Lucas?
Johnson.
Johnson. Okay. Keith.
Jesus Christ.
I believe this is your specialty.
I read that this 53-year-old guy got, no, I don't know, maybe he ate like 50 pounds of food. Anyway, this guy ate so much food
he would
that
die.
this Chinese place had to, no, he was huge. He was 600 pounds or something. And he kept eating. And they had to kick him out because it was almost like noon or something, and they were almost out of food. I don't know if that's true. It's probably not, but I thought I would bring it up anyway. And Johnson has some special assignment with a window he has to get done.
Yep.
If you're trying to eat all the women there, yes, you're going to get kicked out.
Hey, I got a joke for you guys. What's the difference between a baby and an onion?
I don't want to know.
I cry when I chop up onions.
I cry when I cut an onion.
That's what I just said. Anyway, our next topic is, where does Santa get all of his coal from? The slave mines.
He takes little boys that sit down and wipe their ass away to the coal mines.
No, he takes the elves to the coal mine.
No, dude. The coal comes from the hole, okay? And he visits little kids, right? So it comes from little kids' assholes.
Oh, very advanced of you.
Yes. When it's all crusty up and everything, you know, that's where he comes in during Christmas. When that crush between your ass is all hard.
Okay. Well,
did I exit out or something?
Yes, you left and then tried to call me in my DMs.
Oh.
All right. I don't think we have any more to say about that topic, unless anyone thinks that they know where Santa's coal comes from.
I already told you. People that stand up when wiping their ass.
My God.
Okay.
Anyway, why is Fiji water so expensive?
Because it's from the mountain of Fiji or the islands of Fiji or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's filtered through volcanic rock or something.
Speaking of water, I heard that a company, like, I forget what company it was, but
Nestle?
No, I don't know.
I got a story about Nestle.
They were like taking like water from like a lake or something. They were bottling like water from a tap or whatever, and not even doing anything special to it. So they were just selling water that you can get by yourself.
Yeah, Nestle, I don't know the whole story, but however long ago, they paid $500 for some, like, it's a certificate of some sort, and they can go to natural springs inside, what are those places that have park rangers in that?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they go to those public areas, they take the water, bottle it, and sell it back to us from natural springs.
That's what makes it real water. Literally.
Yes, but they're selling us water we own, because it's everyone's water. It's inside the parks.
Technically, yeah, but the water we already drink in the first place is not from. It's not completely natural like the natural springs.
Yeah.
The water we get is from mountains and stuff where the natural springs are, and such as and etc. And as you go farther down the mountain, we have polluted the streams and etc. So if we clean that up, more natural, real spring water.
Yeah.
And
still,
they add in a
they're
bunch of
selling
chemicals.
us the water that owns or that belongs to everyone.
That's what the water that everybody sells is. Everybody sells natural spring water. That's what they say.
And also, they poisoned a butt ton of African children. I think. Anyway, so here's one of the bigger questions on the list that we wrote. What is your opinion of 2020? Or what was your opinion of 2020? Because now it's 2021.
I mean, every year in my life is absolutely terrible. So, I mean, there's been good parts and bad parts. I don't know.
But 2020 was a special year. We had all the deaths of a bunch of famous people. We had the wildfires. We had the floods down somewhere in Venice, I think. We had, the biggest thing ever since the Black Plague, COVID. We have all this stuff, and it's horrible. I don't remember what the death count was, but it's very high. Well, not just the death count, but the infection count.
Yeah, currently somebody right now that I know very close to me just suffered a loss. Her dad died partially from COVID, but at the same time not. But he also had COVID when he died.
The entire world's economy is suffering. Everything's slowing down. Places are closing down. It's insane.
It really is. The amount of family businesses that went out of business as well because of COVID.
Yeah. All these little small places that were already suffering to stay open are now either closed or, have no money at all.
Yeah.
Basically.
That one movie theater that I'm sure a bunch of us have been to, that AMC one by the, that car wash and the liquor place. That one is going out of business now. And that place used to get tons of people.
Man, that place is dope.
Dude, that place was awesome. They sold the big buckets of popcorn, and they had the cool games and stuff before you would go in, and they had decent commercials before you would watch the movie.
Yeah.
And it was so big and grand, and it was so cool. And then, COVID hit. So they went out of business, or they're going out of business.
At least declining.
If they already haven't hit the bottom, they're going towards that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what really sucks.
I was talking to a friend that lived in Australia, and he had to leave his house for an evacuation because of the wildfire. And I don't know where he is now, because he and me have rarely talked because he still has to get everything together. But I'm pretty sure he lost everything. Wow. The few items he could take with him is what he was allowed to have. And all that. And yet again, all these families and people suffering. And then, not to mention all the stupid stuff that the protests have brought along. Like the people that went into the Capitol building, or the BLM protests, or whatever else is going on.
Oh yeah, the Black Lives Matter protests. That was a big one as well.
It's still going on. Well, some of it's still going on.
The raid on Capitol Hill.
Yeah. and all the businesses they're burning. Yet again, with COVID, all these places had to shut down. Some of the places that were struggling have been burnt down. Like in a couple pictures I've seen, fast food places burnt down, like an entire Arby's engulfed in flames. There were places with windows smashed and stuff being looted and all this expensive stuff just being hauled out by people that weren't even part of the protests, that just are there for the looting and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
A lot
I'm sure
of dumb,
2020
crazy.
wasn't liked by a whole group of people.
Yeah, a lot of dumb, crazy stuff happened, and I think part of the reason why a lot of shit got out of hand was because lockdown, especially in America, lockdown drove everybody crazy, and I think it just made everybody want to get out and just destroy a bunch of shit.
And then that new strain that was like, what, 5-10 times more transmittable from the UK that broke out into America. That's just starting up. And there's all these people walking around without masks, and they're helping the spread. And then at the very beginning, all those supplies that people took. And even still, there's stuff that's hard to find. Like the couple Sam's Clubs and places I've been to, all their water was gone, or they're having to haul in like 5 times as much now than they were because they have to take care of all the supply that's being lost right now, because everyone's grabbing hand sanitizer and grabbing toilet paper for practically no reason. The COVID's not going to make you poop more.
You gotta think about.
Hold on. What do you have to say, Johnson?
I'm sorry, I'm being forced into a family matter. I tried to get out of it, but they are forcing my hand.
Okay, well, I'm sure we'll see you later or in the next episode.
Uh-huh.
Alright, well, thank you for spending the night with us, Johnson.
Sorry, Keith, I'm trying to get out of it, but they wouldn't let me. It's nice talking to you guys.
It's fine.
Alright, bye, guys.
Have a good one.
Well, Chaos, it's down to you and me.
Alright, so essentially one of the bad things about the COVID thing that I personally find is what I was about to go on to actually was hand sanitizers. Hand sanitizers are starting to not work as much. And the thing with disease is that we're starting to wash ourselves so much over and over and over again, which essentially can be unhealthy. There is a sense of being too clean. It can be pretty dangerous to your health. Also, at the same time, it's good to get germs, and it's good to get sick every once in a while because it builds your immune system. So if you don't get sick and if you do manage to get COVID, you might be heavily screwed.
But I'm also sure there's also a large group of people that can't afford to get sick.
Yes, basically elders, which essentially elders should already been through getting sick a lot, which should help their immune system. Pain does make you stronger in a way.
I'm sure we'll be coming back to this topic later on with some of the other questions that are on here. But now here's a weird topic that you asked for. Legalization of weed in the U.S.
Of marijuana. Alright, so recently, on a federal level, there's been lots of talks of legalization of the legalization of marijuana. Now, with that being said, that doesn't mean it's automatically legalized in every state. The state necessarily has to legalize it in their state for it to be legal.
Yeah, because
on
it's
certain
up
levels.
to the government of the
state on a state level. But on a federal level, it's supposed to get unlegalized if not already. But anyways, I'm sure if you live in America, there's ways to get weed in the first place. And the reason why it's becoming decriminalized now is because they found ways to tax it. The reason why for the longest time weed was illegal for the most part in most states, and why alcohol was legal is because they didn't have a way to tax weed. But they found a way to tax alcohol. Now, in a sense, that's kind of screwed up when you think about it. But now, since we have dispensaries, we created dispensaries. Essentially, it's a new concept. We have found a way, or the government, the U.S. government and states have found a way necessarily to tax marijuana.
Okay.
So that's why all of a sudden, recently, in the past few years, things are becoming legalized because they're basically just making money off of it.
Yeah, so it's for the government's benefit.
Exactly, not ours. I also heard in Oregon or something, or in Washington, the state or whatever, everything was decriminalized, like drugs in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you want to be honest, I think all drugs should be decriminalized to a certain extent. Depends on the age range. I mean, if you want to be honest, if you're a person and you have a real consciousness and you can think for yourself, you should be able to not do certain drugs and certain things because you just know not to do it. So in a sense, I do agree with Oregon or Washington. I'm not sure which place, but it's one of those two. I'm pretty sure that are decriminalizing drugs in general. Now, doing one shot of cocaine or whatever is not going to kill you most likely. Now, there's some other drugs that would kill you right away, which we should probably be more worried about than weed or most psychedelics necessarily, because psychedelics basically can't kill you unless if you have some kind of medication you're taking that would have some kind of reaction with the psychedelic. Psychedelics don't kill people, but you can overdose and do too much psychedelics. When I say overdose, I don't mean you die. I mean you become a vegetable in the head. You do too much and you essentially don't come back from the trip to reality, but you're still alive and you're still breathing. You're technically, I guess you could say, brain dead.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to stop you there before we get too deep into this and this becomes some sort of drug talk show. We're going to go on to our next topic of why do we only neuter dogs and not anything else? Like, dogs, we cut off their balls, but like cats, we only declaw them.
Actually, like, yeah, that's something hamsters. I've never really noticed.
You don't neuter hamsters. You don't go up to the vet and be like, "Hey, cut off my hamster's balls, would you?" You don't hear about that. It's only the dogs.
Yeah, that's a really interesting topic, actually, and I don't think I know why. I think usually dogs are generally more popularized, so we tend to hear about it more. Cats are pretty popular too, to a certain extent, and if they do have kids, usually owners just give them off. But with a dog, it's probably different. It's a bigger baby. I guess necessarily more health complications, possibly, and I don't know, other things.
I mean, my best guess is as good as yours, other than, I guess, Primal Instinct from way back before they, went to were wolves and then turned into dogs over evolution and such. Or at least also, I think that's how it goes.
Yeah. Also, I would like to add at the same time, now this might sound slightly sexist, but this is true. Women don't always constantly think of sex, and cats usually are a women's choice of animal, typically. It's a very common stereotype, and usually stereotypes are true to some extent. So that might be why you don't really hear about cats getting neutered, because people just generally don't think about their cats having sex. If you're a woman, at least. Because that's probably not something you could say cool to bring up, so it's not really heard. But with men, it's okay for us to bring up sex. Everybody thinks men are just sex hungry, and that's the way of life. So maybe that's why neutering dogs tend to seem more popularized, because it's easier for us to talk about sex in the first place because we are already categorized and basically put into a thing where men heavily sexualize sex and women.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It makes sense, but at the same time, not every man is like that.
Yeah, because it's just mostly a stereotype, but also there's those few people.
Yes, exactly. And the same thing with women is that I'm sure they do think of sex. I'm sure there's a lot of women who do think of a lot of sex. And I'm sure it's common for women to think about that, but it's just not proper for them to ask out a guy, to go up to a guy and be like, let's screw, so it's not necessarily a thing. And
Okay.
yeah, it's kind of a
Yes.
male thing to do that. It's like part of the dominance.
Alright, well, I'm glad that totally understands the dog neutering question. And we're only about, a third of the way through the list, and we've already been going for, about 20 minutes. Well,
I mean, that's good, right?
yes, but it's also a lot of... it doesn't matter. I just thought that, Johnson would have been here for longer, but no. But anyway, our next topic happens to be, do old people understand new tech? The short answer is no.
For the most part, no. And me personally, my reason for this is because people have a fear of the unknown and the new wave of things necessary. So a lot of things are rejected in the first place. And the thing is like when you get shown new things, you don't know how to use them, and they're typically more complicated. You don't understand them, that somebody else helps you out. But it's way more common when everything's generation and generation and generation, old and new. And then when an older person finally picks up a newer stuff, they have to learn every single step about that technology that most kids have probably already grown up and learned those steps. So it's easier for us to use certain apps and etc. and to understand it when we already have a building base in our head of an understanding, probably from a more indoctrinated young age.
It all builds off of the fact that, there back in the day was, radios, and that was the big thing from way back whenever. And all this new stuff shouldn't make sense. Stuff like VR and...
Yeah.
Not even, prototype holograms. I'm not going all sci-fi, oh shoot bro, we got space lasers and all that, and holograms, and all these people getting brain chips and stuff to make them answer phone calls in their mind. I don't want to go all sci-fi crap, but that technology is starting to come around, like AI, like intelligent AI that can answer questions and all this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All this advancements in technology don't make sense.
Yeah, and so a lot of people tend to push it away, especially when they're like, oh, I heard about this years ago. But the thing is us ourselves, our younger people, never lived through that year. So we were never necessarily afraid of newer stuff, because we're already indoctrinated into it. But then when we get older at a certain age, probably 16, 20, starting then, we start seeing newer stuff that probably fears us. That we probably fear and we probably tend to stray away for a long time or for a while. So already then that technology is advancing while we do not touch it because we, in reality, are scared of it in the first place. There's some things that I, myself, have not experienced technology-wise, like the newest phones necessarily. A lot of people have a decent phone, right? But they don't have the newest phone. In the next few years, when they do get that newest phone, which is not the newest in the next few years, they have to go through and try to understand this and understand that. Or they might just straight up buy the newest one in the next few years, right? And then they already don't understand it from the previous phone, right? So let's say they're 2 generations by on phones. So now they have even more to catch up to learn about because they basically have to get it because as newer stuff comes in, more things are discarded and less things are needed. So less support is put into that old technology. Support wise, like Windows 7, support from Windows 7 that went away. What's the thing that just went away for little games on computer? What's it called?
Flash.
Flash. So that went away. And maybe in the next few years there might be something new and not using it because, we're just like, okay, whatever. And then when we do decide to use the new thing, we have to understand it because it's had so many updates and things. If that makes sense, then you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, it does. I think it's the fact of, only 30, 40 years ago they came out with the first iPhone and we're already on, number 12? Stuff is evolving so fast that it doesn't make sense to the previous generations, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not look like it's needed until it basically is needed, so then they have to catch up with everything. And it's going to happen to every single generation, and it's already slowly started happening to me to a certain extent with some technology and some other things, because I haven't touched the new PS5. I haven't touched the new other thing else, and maybe in the next few years after the PS5 has had so many updates that literally changes the console, and then I get it, I have to try to understand it and work my way around it to play video games necessarily. Now, I used to have a PS3, right? And then I never got the PS4 until a lot later. And then I got it, and then I had to understand it, I mean, it wasn't as simple as when the first PS4 first came out with no updates. So things slowly advance, even things that you like in different kind of ways. So you have to just catch up. And it's frustrating to try to understand so much that doesn't make sense.
All right, well, I'm sure that we'll get that feeling soon enough. But our next topic happens to be, why do rich people get gold leafing on their food? If Johnson was here, he would go off about this. He hates it when rich people put gold leafing on their food. You know how they're like, oh, I got 24 karat this, or 24 karat pizza, or how they put gold leafing on everything.
Yeah, now, me personally, not every rich person does this, but it's probably those younger people on social media who does this because they can.
Yes, because they can afford it.
Yeah, exactly, because they're already brought into a rich family. And then
it's for that aesthetic, it's for that perfect picture, it's for
2,000 more likes,
Yeah.
A few more followers, So in a way, it's a marketing tactic. I'm sure not people on a daily basis go out and do that unless it's to show off, and boost their ego in front of people, especially around social media. That's the best way to boost your fucking ego, is then possibly millions.
Having the best post around.
Yup.
Getting the top of those charts and views and...
Yeah, hashtag gold burger, I mean, everybody wants to see a gold burger, let's be honest, because it's like, what? No way, can you eat a gold burger? That's cool. So it gets us to click. Smartphones and technology itself are meant to be addictive, so we can keep coming back, keep buying the products and stuff. It's basically a literal drug. From the time you wake up, you probably reach for your phone. It's that addictive. It's honestly, it's probably worse than a drug because, when you first wake up, you don't do meth. I guarantee you don't. Most I don't think don't. You don't do meth right away. I mean, you might smoke a blunt, but that's to help the mood chill out. Yeah. It's when you get that urge. That's when you do meth or heroin.
It's that feeling.
Yeah, and then when you wake up, get that urge for your phone because it's right next to you, literally. And there's so much social anxiety that it gets us from all this. I'll be honest. Yes, that something could have happened without us knowing, and we have the opportunity to click 2 buttons to find out.
It's that fact of some people's lives are entirely on technology now, and it just happens to be that the phone is the most versatile. Oh, you can visit this website and bump up your popularity, and you can check out your friends, and you can watch YouTube videos of whoever you want, and you can follow your favorite creators or other people in the world that do this or that, or in that entire category.
And you're always worried about somebody because like everybody's so stressed out necessarily, like
especially for the younger generations.
Yeah, exactly. Online relationships is a huge thing because it's a roller coaster. You want me to be honest? So like you're like, let me text her, let me text him. Did he send me a message? Did I forget to text her last night? Is she feeling better? Is she okay? And women constantly need attention. I'll be honest, dude. Typically, women constantly need attention, and if you don't give that to them, they're gonna get worried and freaked out, and maybe even possible fucking breakup. Honestly. So you grab your phone out of anxiety to see if everything's okay, and then maybe you get caught up with another app after you found out everything's okay on social media. YouTube.
Okay. I'm gonna have to stop this there. This is getting a little wild and off the rails.
Exactly. So
this
every
went from
app is
gold
designed...
leafing on food to the stress of like social media real fast.
Yeah, but after you're done feeling satisfied, you go to other apps because it's right there in front of you. It's like fucking cocaine in front of your face. Literally. My advice personally is to put your phone somewhere where you have to find it in the morning.
Yeah, like across the room.
Yeah. Just forget about it, man. No matter what your urge. Have a morning routine, a healthy morning routine, because you might pick up your phone, see something negative, and then your whole day is ruined. You got
then
nothing
you sit there
done.
for an hour scrolling through whatever website or whatever front page of insert social media blog or something here.
Yeah, and you got nothing productive done if something bad did happen, because now your day's just so like just put it to the side, take a shower, drink some water. First thing you do is drink some water.
Hydration.
Right, as soon as you wake up. Yes, that is actually very important, and it will help to kickstart your mood in your day and the way you feel. So water is essential. As soon as you wake up, get up too. Make sure you get up. Don't go back to sleep, because when you wake up after sleeping again, typically you feel even worse. I'll be honest.
Yeah. People so underestimate how hydrated you need to be. They don't understand that you need this much water or you're going to actually pass out, or if they don't even think that they're drinking too much or enough or just under how much water they should be, because hydration is a serious issue that everyone throws aside and just say, I'll drink enough water, I hope.
Yeah, hydration helps a lot, and it helps with your mood and your mental state, for real. But honestly, just have a good routine, and make sure you always repeat that routine so you don't get out of balance. That's all I have to say.
Well, guess we'll go into our next topic, which also kind of has to do with the morning routine of eating breakfast. Is cereal a soup?
No, it's not necessarily. I don't think so.
But would it count as a soup?
I mean,
classify what you think a soup is.
Soup is warm. That's the main component in soup, is a warm liquid substance. Possibly noodles, possibly crackers in there, possibly chicken, possibly just tomato soup, but soup is typically warm always. That's the big thing that makes soup.
Yeah. But in some world, could it be considered a soup? Probably. Not a high chance, but probably.
If you want warm fucking cereal, there you go. Sure, stick that bitch in the microwave. Let's see how it tastes. I guarantee you, after that minute of taking it out and looking at those heat
people
air bubbles.
people do have warm milk before bed because they think it makes them sleep better. I don't know if it does. I tried it a couple times before. It didn't do a whole lot for me.
Water. Drink water. Like, don't have any sweets, candy, or anything before bedtime. And also another thing, if you have a setting for your blue light thing on your phone, turn that on because it'll help your eyes and
because the radiation makes you stay awake for longer.
I don't think it's the radiation, it's just the type of light that it emits. So if you enable the blue light or whatever, if you have that option on your phone, it should help you wind down better. And water also, do not drink any, pop, anything, coffee, anything before bed. No candy whatsoever, all right, no sugary thing. Because
do people even drink coffee before bed?
I don't know, but I'm just saying, for example,
I would hope
no caffeine. Well, caffeine's in coffee, but no caffeine, no sugar. You already know shit that gets you going. Make sure you stay away from it. Also, drink some water because water will help you flush out things like caffeine already before bed in the first place, and that helps to get you more wind down and relax usually, And also, the coldest water is not also necessarily the healthiest. Room temperature is actually the healthiest water for you. And honestly, I tried to drink room temperature water. I enjoy it more that way. I enjoy room temperature water. Now, I can also enjoy cold water, but usually I prefer room temperature water. And it's naturally more healthy for you too. I'm guessing it helps to flush out your system more because honestly, if you're having a cold substance going through you, it's just going to make everything, freeze up and go slower necessarily. So
I don't understand how people drink spring water. To me, it tastes like what, lake water, fish pee, like someone scooped up a whole big bottle while they were out fishing and tried to sell it. Is it not filtered or what?
I have no clue. Natural spring water, is meant to be healthy enough to drink. But if you get water from like the mountains, like top of the mountains, usually
I think it has more minerals.
Yeah, it has more minerals and more good things in the health, which is natural and good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll go on to our next topic because we've spent a whole lot of time on it. Is cereal a soup? Somehow. What would happen if there was a dimension of just males? Everyone would lose their minds.
No, not really. We'd probably become gay. Make flashlights or something. I don't know. We probably wouldn't necessarily ruin our. It probably wouldn't necessarily ruin our minds. In a sense, we'd probably be very relaxed at first to be the fuck away from women. Personally, that's just me as a guy, and a lot of other guys would think the same.
But over time, I think it would deteriorate from a feeling of, oh yeah, no females, to, oh no, just dudes.
Yeah, most likely, probably just adapt to screw dudes. Probably.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Well, I'm going to keep that topic short and go straight into what is the best Wi-Fi name you've ever seen? Now, you and me have both seen this.
Power 9 Gaming. Power 9 Gaming.
The get your kids off my LAN.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I wrote down in my notes for today.
Oh, wow.
I saw a bunch of weird ones from a couple hotels I've been to or drove past while I had my Wi-Fi thing open. I don't remember any of them. Or when you're driving like on the highway and other people in their cars have their cellular data on and they can name their hotspots.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like so weird. And it's funny. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just a whole world of
Yeah.
I can't go any farther than that, but...
Yeah. There's some crazy ones.
Yeah, totally some crazy ones. Maybe even some over the top, but...
Yeah.
Next topic. When do you think the world will end? People said that the Mayan calendar was... The Aztec calendar or something said the world was supposed to end in 2012. I don't think that's true, because they miswrote it to be 2021. No.
Uh-oh.
I'm sure we'll survive. It'll be a horrible time with all this COVID crap and stuff we've already talked about, but I'm sure we'll make it at least another couple generations, if not millions of years.
Yeah, probably.
And I've watched tons of documentaries on what if the sun explodes, or what if Earth collides with another planet, or if the entire asteroid belt just zooms to Earth. Even with that, there's chances of survival, unless it's an extinction event, like a big meteor that
probably won't
collides, happen. Like the dinosaurs died.
Yeah. Honestly,
but I'm sure it will be a while before human extinction.
Honestly, I think a lot of weather events are are completely natural in the process of our Earth. I'll be honest. So a lot of the bad things, other than the fire and stuff, but a lot of the hurricanes and stuff, I think it's possibly more natural to me necessarily, because if you remember Pangea. There's something called
when all the things were together, all the continents.
Yes. There's something called that our Earth changes climate. So I'm not necessarily such a huge firm believer in what's it called, when we use pollution and it screws up the sky. What's it called? Global warming. I'm not necessarily such a huge believer into it. I think this is more of a natural process of us going into a different phase.
Yeah.
Like, that's personally how I see global warming, is that the Earth is regularly, naturally changing. And maybe we're helping to speed up the process slightly. But if you want to be honest...
But we're not just going to die tomorrow from the degrees going up 1 in the entire atmosphere.
Yeah, that's it, dude. This is completely normal, like, honestly. And then, dude, the continents move closer together, like 2 centimeters every year on average.
Yeah. And I mean, what, the polar ice caps or something are melting? I mean, the ice is going to, like, refreeze.
Exactly.
And icebergs are going to form and all this.
It's a natural process.
Yeah.
That's personally how I see it, you know.
And what is it? Elon Musk is already putting people on Mars, or at least trying to.
Yeah.
In, like, what, 20 years ago, we didn't even have space shuttles that could last on the moon or something, and now we have these super high-tech, like, totally different looking rockets that are, 100 or, like, tens of times bigger.
Yeah.
Length of football fields and stuff that can just land on and then start a colony or something.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it'll be a whole lot more time till human extinction.
Yeah. What time are we at right now?
I think we're at least 40 minutes in.
Alright, do we want to stop this, or continue?
I still got...
Because my battery's at 16.
I got 7 more questions. If we just zoom through these real fast, we'll finish up.
Alright,
What is the strangest thing you've ever eaten? Strangest thing I've ever eaten is these weird Chinese peanut candy things that my mom brought home from a coworker, and they had these super weird labels with these super weird, like, peanut character on the front. And they were like candy glazed Chinese peanuts or something.
Honestly, it's hard for me to think of something, you know.
Yeah.
Sushi, but sushi has become much more of a normal thing. I guess you could say lobster. Okay, you could say lobster.
Okay, yeah, lobster. I haven't had that before. I know it's for more either you buy it from like a market or a store, and you have it once in a lifetime, or you're rich and you have it all the time in one of these super expensive restaurants that don't make sense.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yet again, we're zooming through these topics. So, what do they do when you can't pay for your Build-A-Bear after it's made? Because you always pay after you make the bear. It's never like you pay it and then you put all the stuff in and all the accessories. And if you make a bear, then you can't pay for it. Do they just rip it apart and steal its stuffing and use it for a different bear?
They probably just throw it away. Honestly, that's probably the most logical thing. And
I mean,
I'm sure they're allowed to rip it apart, but
I don't think they get like every other customer. Oh, I can't pay for this. I'm sure it's like 5, maybe even that day a week.
Maybe.
They just have this back surgery room and they're ripping bears open and stealing like lungs and hearts and ripping guts. Okay, well, next up, do you agree with the current protests?
No.
For the reasons that they're happening, not a whole lot. The protests themselves, not at all.
I haven't agreed with any protests this whole year, honestly. I'll be straight up with you
my whole thing on it is, people are walking in the streets, running around, threatening people and looting. That's gonna get your point across.
Yeah,
I don't want to be
one
of those Karens being like, those stupid idiots out there. No, I just don't think it helps. Like, if I stand outside on the street saying, hey, I don't want to mow the lawn anymore, I'm probably going to get hit by a car instead. It's not going to help anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw the funniest thing. I don't know if it's true or not, but they made laws to protect people in cars that drive over protesters. So if you're going down the street and you see a group of protesters and you hit them because they're in the way, there's laws that can protect you against it. I don't know if that's true, but I heard that it was true.
Funny.
Because I saw this guy in this truck hit a whole group of people standing in the street with signs, and it was so funny. Dude, there was this like protest from a long time ago. I don't remember. It was like 2012 or something. There were a bunch of people protesting in these like 3 military trucks or like SUVs or something came in, and they all had police lights and stuff. So they were slowly driving through the crowd, and people were diverging and like swarming around it. And one of the cars just went off and hit somebody, and you saw the back of the SUV like pop up and then go back down, and the tire just crushed them underneath. And then there was a swarm of people that crowded around the person, and they were just, like, dead. Like, one of their lungs was collapsed, and all their ribs were broken, I'm sure.
Damn, dude, that's insane.
Dude, no, I found it on like, school computers. You can find it, you just have to find the one website. It's a news website, and they have the full, like, news video and the footage that came with it. Dude, it just runs over that lady full speed.
Man, people are so dumb sometimes they think they want her to
each
other. Like, bruh.
I mean, I'm not one of those people that wants to protect the one in the wrong, but like the cops should just put down some of these people. People that are running around with like knives and guns and looting and all this, they should just have the laws to put these people down and put them in their place.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I mean, if it's your choice to go to one of these protests and screw around, well, if you get shot, oh no.
Yeah, literally, like, dude, like, I'm sorry, but like,
I don't want to be one of these, yet again, old crotchety people that's like, those dumb kids, man, and waving their cane around while people are trampling their plants in their lawn. Like, there was that thing about those people that were brandishing, like, shotguns and firearms to the protesters outside that were messing with their yard and all that. They had rights. I'm not one of those people that are like, liberals, you hunt gun. No, I don't want to be one of those hillbilly folk that's like, I got 17 AR-15s in my back truck, 12 gauge under my toilet. No, I don't think you should, brandish weapons at your neighbors just for their dog pooping in your lawn, but they had rights. Those protesters were in the wrong place, and they should have never been there, actually. But anyway, next topic. Are smaller games better or AAA produced games better? So, you kind of already touched on this before. The Flash games that people put their heart and soul into. I think those are better than the games that are thrown into the assembly line these days.
Well, it honestly depends sometimes. I mean, some of them are really enjoyable. I mean, especially if you're at school. Let's be honest, because that's the
Yeah.
most enjoyable thing. But if we had the chance to play AAA games at school, we honestly probably would. Like, if you want to be honest, I'd probably play Cyberpunk over any cool math game. I'll be honest.
Yeah. I think I like the smaller game companies better. I feel like they put a whole lot of heart and soul and everything they do, and more humanity in their story. And then, sure, it's not as good. Maybe some of them have horrible graphics or horrible this or character sprites or a horrible way you play the game. But they tried. The AAA games are just thrown in an assembly line, built by machines, and then thrown out at the end onto the market. Like that Cyberpunk 2077 game that came out. It has glitches through the roof. You know what doesn't have glitches?
At the same time, you can't complain about that because everybody pushed them to throw it out. So if
Well,
there
yeah,
wasn't
but
so
it's
many
been in
glitches,
production for 6 or 8 years. They announced it so long ago. They've had this much time, released it, and it was still crap.
well, at the same time, I can understand that, but it's such a huge, massive, detailed game. And with COVID going on, it's hard to get a bunch of play testers looking for every single bug before the game comes out. Playing it.
Yeah.
So,
But I'm still sure they could have done better.
Yeah. Well, it's normal with video games too to have bugs when they first come out, and then they fix it as the game comes out with patches and patches. Because at the same time, everything cannot be found. So
Yeah.
I watched basically almost every single episode I've seen on Cyberpunk, almost the full story, damn near to the end of Cyberpunk necessarily. And the thing for me is that it was such an amazing story, and there was so much shit that the YouTuber I watched could have still done, and there was more alternate endings that he did, and I just never watched all the alternate endings, and there was so much in it. I honestly wish the story was longer, and a lot of it was an emotional roller coaster for me. So in a way, it is very awesome. There was a lot of detail put into it, especially the story. The story is where it gets you, and I'm telling you, dude, that story was emotional.
I mean, me myself, I haven't watched it, played it, or anything like that, but I've just heard a lot of bad things about it. And the fact that it can't run for crap on a PS4.
I mean, yeah, honestly. But they're not done updating it, too, at the same time, which I can understand.
The PS4 has been around for how many years?
Well, yeah, you also got to think about like this. When Modern Warfare first came out, there were so many bugs, and technically it's a high frame rate game. And with Cyberpunk, it looks even more realistic. So, in a way, we are the guinea pigs, where we test out every little bug, and then they see it, and then they fix it. So, like,
yeah,
that's my personal opinion on games, honestly.
Okay. Well, next up, we had 2 questions that were submitted by Johnson that he really wanted to talk about, and apparently he couldn't make it. And he's been texting me this entire time about how his life is hell, and he's been slaving away this entire time. But, why do people enjoy trick shots, and also, why is Dude Perfect so popular?
Alright. If you want me to start first...
man threw a basketball into hoop, ha 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 ha, funny! I don't understand it.
When we see things that other people can do that we can't do that are
I think it's just the talent that they have that other people don't.
Yeah, it's when we see things that we normally can't do. Even though, I mean, it's not impossible, like flying.
It's improbable.
But, like, I mean, it could happen, but like when we see things that we never did or done, it interests us. So trick shots, like basketballs, footballs, frisbees, anything, even in video games like Call of Duty. Especially in Call of Duty, because trick shots in Call of Duty take a lot of precision. And I'll even give Fortnite this. Those trick shots in Fortnite are insane, the ones I've seen. And no diss on that whatsoever, but personally, Fortnite is meh to a certain extent for me, but those trick shots are insane. I've hit one trick shot, literally, and that took forever. That took forever, and I was going up against a noob, literally. And it wasn't even a cool trick shot. I just wasn't even really aiming, you know? That was basically it, you know?
Well, yeah, I think it's just the fact that they're more talented than us. They can do all these almost superhuman things that seem impossible for us normal, well, let's say us normal people to do, because obviously we're not throwing basketballs over an entire football stadium into a hoop across the way. But, yeah. Alright, we're up to our last question of the night. Is there black Canadians, or what about hood Asians? This is Johnson's question, I have to say.
Now, here's something I've heard and noticed. A lot of countries have gangs, so in their own way, yes. In Australia, I've seen Australian gangs. And Russia, I have too. That's not even a fucking meme. It's just true. Seriously.
Yeah.
And there's Chinese gangs, I know, and there used to be a Japanese
There's
gang.
the Italian mafia.
The mafia, if you consider them a gang, but they've died out.
Well,
a big ton. They've died out a lot since.
Well. I wouldn't say that.
70s.
I would say they more quieted down. But yes, there's still a lot less activity of. I don't know what even is considered the mafia anymore.
It's so, I don't know, dude. I mean, the mafia is definitely still around. It's just not as.
Because I know in America there's, the hood gangs, there's the Blood and the Crips, we own this territory, the hood. And they're shooting up each other in the streets and all this poverty crap. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I just know the mafia gangs and all that were so much cooler. They were like, we own this part of the city, we make money, and we, like, what was it? They own casinos and, like, have bets and, what was it? I don't know. It's a whole big jumble of I have no clue what's happening over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's everything we got tonight.
Yeah, basically everything, I'm pretty sure.
Well, thank you, Chaos, for being with us tonight. Or at least me tonight, because Johnson had to go.
Yeah.
I'm sure this won't be the last we see of you. Maybe episode 2, or maybe you might even become a regular host of the show.
Maybe every once in a while, who knows?
Maybe. But I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode, the first episode, in fact, of the Crevice Cast. Hope you'll join us next time, to all our probable 2 viewers that are going to see this. And, yeah. Have yourselves a good night. And hope to see you listening to our next thing.